Hi everyone, Kaki from Merge Health. I wanted to talk to you today about a few things that people often get wrong when they think about the Paleolithic diet or the paleo diet. The first thing is that the Paleolithic man had a much shorter life than us. Well, that's true, but the reasons for his shorter life were completely different from ours. So today we're suffering with chronic illness and degenerative diseases like cancer and cardiovascular disease, all sorts of things, inflammatory joint diseases, things that go on and on and on for long periods of time. And we've got the benefits of medicine to keep us going, hospitals, medical procedures, surgeries, to keep us going for a lot longer than the Paleolithic man. So you can imagine that in paleo times when we didn't have advances, technological advances, the Paleolithic man didn't have access to, say, a hospital when his wife was giving birth, and so infant mortality was a lot higher then than it is today. Even our preemie babies do incredibly well nowadays, and that certainly wasn't the case for him. Tribal warfare was a much bigger issue then than it is now, and even though we still have many wars today, not to the same degree that the Paleolithic man would have experienced, and that was cultural, something that was going on all the time. Exposure to the elements would have been a major contributing factor to a shorter lifespan as well. Storms and dry conditions certainly would have had a huge impact. Emergency medicine, of course, anything goes wrong. We mentioned just in pregnancy, but of course, if you have an event, you get into a fight with a tiger, for example, you don't have the ambulance just 20 or 30 minutes away to try and get you back on track. A lot of people also believe that the paleo diet is high protein and therefore bad for your kidneys. Well, the Paleolithic diet can be high protein, but it doesn't have to necessarily be the case, because really what we're focusing on is a lifestyle or the type of foods that we're eating, rather than focusing on how much of this and how much of that. And in the past, we've found that counting calories and portioning food has not, unfortunately, led to people to enjoy good health long term, because they're constantly focused on the amounts that they're eating whilst not actually feeling satiated. So if you've got kidney disease, eating high amounts of protein can be a problem. But for everybody else, there has been some research to show, actually one paper in 2007 demonstrated that actually it has no effect at all. So high protein diets, if the paleo diet is actually high protein for you, hasn't been shown to be a problem unless you have kidney disease. Going on from that, a lot of people associate paleo with being high in meat, and in the same way, it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So you might find that when you transition over to a paleo diet that it is initially quite high in meat, and sometimes we prescribe that as long as it's organic and grass-fed in an ideal situation, so you're getting all the right chemical compounds that you need. Transitioning away from a grain-based diet or a processed food-based diet can result in eating high amounts of meat. It's also not a problem, but what you do find is that after a period of time, your nutrient fill actually comes up, and you find that actually you can do much better on high vegetables, which is, of course, most important. We recommend at Merge Health that you have at least 70 to 75% of your plate vegetables, and meat really should only be comprising a small amount anyway. But once you've achieved your nutrient fill, for a lot of people, they find that they can actually reduce their meat. Probably fat's a little bit more important. Whole grains are healthy, is what a lot of people believe, and there are some nutrients in grains. Unfortunately, there are a whole lot of other things like phytic acid and lectins that block nutrient absorption from grains and also can irritate the lining of the digestive tract. Now, most of us have already got some sort of digestive issue, so putting in more foods that are going to cause greater irritation is actually a bigger problem. And I might also add that the Paleolithic man didn't conveniently have a bowl of Nutrigrain or oats or muesli just available for him to have first thing in the morning. He had to go and collect. And so grains are an incredibly difficult food source to produce into something edible and palatable. It would have been part of their diet, but certainly not 5 times a day like we typically have here in Australia. And then finally, paleo is a fad. That's a big one at the moment because paleo diet is quite popular. Actually, I would say that a grain-based diet is a fad. We've been eating grains to the degree that we have only for a really narrow part of human existence, and in actual fact, we've been eating a paleo whole foods based diet for most of human existence. As I mentioned before, the paleo man would have been waking up and having his Nutri-Grain or his Wheat Bix in the morning. He would have been gathering or eating what was left over from last night. So there's a few quick tips on the things that people most get wrong about paleo, and I hope that sets you on a good journey for the future forward. See ya.